If it don't feel right, it's because it ain't right. You gotta meet me here. You might have thought you was gonna have to meet me here, but no, baby, you gotta meet me here, because I already do all this for myself. What are you gonna do on top of what I'm already doing for myself? Sometimes people only think about the right now, and the right now is gonna get you messed up, for real. What's going on, family? It's your girl Tatiana Moss, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I talk about sexual wellness, fashion, lifestyle, career, entrepreneurship advice. So if any of those things are interested to you, go ahead and click that subscribe button down below so you can become a part of the family too. And for my returning viewers, hey family, what's going on? Thank you so much for coming back and clicking on another video from your girl. So as y'all can see, we are starting a new series on my channel. Welcome to Wind Down Wednesdays with the Simple Moscato. So every Wednesday, once a month, I'm going to be doing a video where I'm going to be just talking all things life, love, career, friendships, finances, just everything under the sun we'll be discussing up here. So it's going to be like, you know, we're just chatting it up with each other like we on FaceTime. So I would love for you guys in the upcoming weeks to just comment down below some suggestions of different video ideas that you guys want me to do. Sometimes I may have guests up here and others I won't. So definitely make sure that you are leaving out some good topics, because I definitely think this is going to be something good, and I'm so excited to see how it goes on my channel and how you guys like this series. Something else that we're going to be doing is we're going to be trying out a different wine every single time that we get up here, okay? Because your girl loves a little drink. So as I'm trying these things out, you guys are going to be trying it with me too, or whatnot. And yeah, I think it's just going to be something really fun. So if you guys are ready to get into this first episode, y'all know what to do. Give this video a thumbs up and let's get started. Okay, so now that we got the introduction out the way, let's go ahead and get into the good stuff. So today's wine that we are tasting is from Aldi, y'all. Love something bougie on a budget right here, okay? So this wine was only, I believe, $5.99, and it is a Moscato from the brand Mazel. Some of the notes that are in there is peach and apricot. Moscato is like my favorite type of wine because it's sweet. I'm not the type of person that likes a bitter type of wine. So if you're not into sweet wines, I would definitely say skip this. But we're gonna say, yeah, this is gonna be a good one. I have not tried it, so we're gonna be trying this one together. And it does have 9% of alcohol. So let's see how this goes. But before I pour my glass, did you get your glass ready, girl? Okay, let's give you a couple seconds to get your glass. Alright, let me find out you. I ain't mad at you, girl. It's been a long week. I'm about to pull with you too, girl. Yes, ma'am. So my wine glass says I've got 99 problems, but wine ain't one. I thought it was so cute. I got this from Dollar Tree years ago. So cheers. All right. Cheers to a good first episode, and yeah, blessings and prosperities in my channel. Not bad. This isn't the wine I had earlier at the nail shop. But I knew it was gonna be good because I like Moscato. Moscato is sweet, so I knew it was gonna be a good wine. But anyways, if y'all like sweet wines for an affordable price, check out your local Aldi's, and I'll try to have it listed down below as well. All right, y'all, so today's episode is going to be about what I've learned in my 20s. But of course, I'm going to be doing a little spin on it. I did turn 27 this year, so I'm going to be doing 27 things that I've learned since being in my 20s. I feel like a lot of people have done this video and they've done their own spin on it. So I thought this was a great introductory to this series or whatnot, because I may be young, but I got a lot of wisdom, y'all. Trust me, I do. Let's go ahead and get into the first one. All right, don't mind me, y'all. I'm gonna be reading some from off my phone because 27 is a lot to keep up with. All right, so the first thing that I have learned is once you master your emotions, you can master anything. And I feel like that is so true. Like in life, a lot of stuff that happens to us sometimes calls for us to respond in an emotional way, but you gotta learn how to control your emotions. Everything doesn't need a negative response as far as like fighting somebody, this and the third. Like, and so when I say like mastering your emotions to help you master your life, I truly mean that, because if people don't have control over your emotions, then you can get through anything, if that makes sense. Like say for instance, somebody cheat on you or something like that. Yeah, it may hurt, but it's like, I'm not gonna allow you to see that side of me, because it's like, you know what, you're not even worth that. Like, you didn't have to do that to me, and I'm not even gonna sit up here and play fire with fire. I'm gone. Like, maybe when I was younger, I might have played around with it, but I'm not into like, you know, breaking somebody's stuff up, slashing tires, doing all that extra shit. Like, I'm too old for that now, and I'm just not into that. No offense to anybody that still does that, like, because I understand if you love somebody, sometimes it makes you do some things, but where I'm at right now, that's just not what I'm on, because I got a lot to lose, and the last thing I'm trying to do is go to jail over some ain't-ass dude, and they sitting up here out here freely in the world. Like, it's not giving that. It never gave that, actually. So anyways, that is the first thing that I feel like I've learned since being in my 20s. The next thing that I would tell you guys is, the older you get, the more intentional you have to be with your friendships. And when I say this, this is something that I've learned in the past couple of year or two. People don't realize just because you have history with somebody does not mean that's going to hold y'all through the rest of y'all lives. I could have known somebody for 10 years, but if we're not constantly checking on each other, I'm not watering this relationship to keep it growing, it's going to eventually die like a flower, right? And so same thing happens with your friendship. Just as much as you keep on the maintenance with your boyfriend or your husband or whoever your partner is, you need to do the same thing with your friends. You need to be checking in. You need to be, you know, hanging out when you can, going on dates or whatever. Like, you got to be intentional, because if you're not, the friendship is going to eventually die. And I mean, it's been a couple of friendships that I've had that have fizzled out because of the fact that one person was putting in more energy than the other one, and that just never works long term when it comes to anything. So definitely keep that in mind. If you want to keep people in your life, you got to be intentional with the friendship, but also understand that they may not be able to meet you at that same place, and if not, then you got to let the relationship go, unfortunately. Ooh, had to take a little wine break. All right, so the next thing I would say is to set boundaries and stick to them. I can't stress this enough, y'all. If you have no boundaries in your life, anything goes. And when I say anything goes, you're going to go wherever the wind blows. Wherever anybody else wants you to be, that's what you're going to be. And that's what boundaries are for. It's going to protect you from getting effed over, in a sense. Like, that's why I really don't even like to say, like, I'm going with the flow anymore, because as you know, the flow is whatever. It just, it goes in the wind. And that's the same thing. When you don't got boundaries, you don't got standards for yourself, you're gonna go to whatever somebody else wants you to do. And you're gonna end up in a situation that you wasn't even supposed to be in, because you was going with the flow, girl. You was going with the wind. So yeah, that's cut out. We're not going with the flow no more. We're going in with a plan, and hopefully we execute that plan. That's what I'm trying to do, okay? The next step I would say is to save, y'all. I cannot stress enough how much you need to save money. I cannot believe that I'm in my later 20s now, and y'all, my savings looks crazy. All the times that I got refund checks, tax returns, checks for school, a big lump sum of money, I don't know where it went. I really cannot tell you. And think about that yourself too. Like, you know, when you got a decent amount of money and now you like, oh my God, where is the money at? Where is the money? Like, for real. So if y'all don't do anything, even if it's just $5 out of your check, put something to the side, because I promise you, you're gonna need that one day. You're gonna be looking for that rainy day fund, and it's not gonna be nothing there. I'm just saying. The next thing that I would say is, if you get mad, don't stay mad for too long. I'm gonna give y'all a little story or whatnot about me, because this has happened to me a few times. I got upset with a friend of mine because she did not do something the way she was supposed to do it. It was a business type of thing going on. That's why I don't like mixing business with friendship. That should be another tip. But we was doing some type of business transaction, and the transaction was not completed, and the payment didn't go fully because the other half of the agreement was not done. And so I had cut her off for at least 2 years, because I was pissed. I was pissed about this situation, and she really ruined this special moment for me in my life. And I was walking around pissed off about this situation, and she reached out to me a few times, and I guess she didn't know I was upset. And here I was walking around mad at the world, and sis was over here living her life, didn't even know she was mad. So about 2 years later, I ended up talking to her or whatnot, because she reached out again. I was like, you know, let me just tell this girl why I'm mad. And I ended up telling her, and pretty much like she had no idea I was upset from that still. Yes, and she said that she figured something was wrong with me, but she didn't know what it was, because she didn't know I was mad from that. So again, if you're going to be mad at something, y'all, do not be mad for too long. You will be out here walking around with all this hate in your heart, upset off of something that happened to you years ago, and then you're gonna be sitting there looking crazy when you know you wondering why you blocking your own blessings because you so mad and angry all the time. You gotta let stuff go. Like, even if you never get the apology that you want, sorry y'all, even if you don't never get the apology that you want, it's always good to just even still just forgive people so you don't end up in a situation where you're upset all the time. Which brings me to my next point. And I've said this quote before, whatever, but I kind of came up with this off the top of my head. And it states, forgive yourself for the knowledge that you did not have while making that mistake. But once you know better, you are making an active choice. So pretty much, we all make mistakes, right? But once you do something more than once, it's a choice at that point. So think about that in anything in your life. If you keep doing it over and over and over again, you're making an active choice now instead of making that mistake. You can't really call it a mistake no more. So yes, you can forgive yourself and you can forgive other people. But again, if it keeps happening over and over again, you know what time it is. My next tip would be to say that you cannot save everyone. Everybody that you come across, whether that's somebody you're interested in relationship-wise or even a friendship, you can't save them. Like, you can want the best for them. You can want them to be the best person in the world. But it's like, if that person is not ready to receive whatever it is that you're trying to show them, or to even change their own ways, you have to let it go. Because I promise you, you will find yourself stressed out and more worried about that person's situation than them. And they over there just still trying to navigate it. So just understand that you cannot save everybody. Worry about yourself and worry about your own path. The next thing I would say is, when we are getting older, understand that your family is getting older too, and give them their flowers while they're still here. Like, growing up, me and my family, like, we love each other, don't get me wrong, but we never really said it a lot. We never said like, I love you a lot in my house. And so as I've gotten older, that's something that I try to do a little bit more, or be more affectionate towards them, because it's like, I understand they're not going to be here forever, and I want to let them know that everything that they've done, I'm so appreciative of it, and I love them so much. And so I want you guys, and I want to stress this, while your family is still here that you care about, make sure that you do right by them, and you tell them how much they mean to you. Give them their flowers. Don't wait till they pass on to be like, oh my God, like, I wish I would have told my grandma like she was the best thing that ever happened to me and how she just inspired me so much. Tell them that now while they can still hear, while the roses are still fresh, you know. So that is definitely something that I don't take for granted, and I definitely make sure I try to do that as much as possible now. The next tip I would say, and this one might be a little bit, you know, controversial, but I do think it's a good one, is to try being celibate at one point in your life. In my 20s, you know, not to get too much in my business, but you know, the longest I went without doing anything, which I would say was over a year. Because in my early 20s, I was in a long-term relationship for the most part of it. And so, in that year and a half, I learned so much about myself. I learned that you really don't like people sometimes outside of the physical. Like, when you really got to take time to get to know somebody, get into that mind, all that other stuff goes out the window. And you really start to realize too, like, yikes, you're actually a shitty person outside of the bedroom. So it's kind of like, when you cut that thing off, you unlock so many different layers to people that you didn't even know existed. So I really can't stress this enough, y'all. Try practicing being celibate at some point in your life, or abstinent. I meant to say abstinent, because I think celibate is when you're not going to engage in intercourse ever again, or something like that, or for a long period of time. Abstinent is you're doing it for a certain period of time, if I'm not mistaken. But I'm currently abstinent once again or whatnot, because I'm tired of wasting my time and putting my energy into things that are not getting back to me. So I'm not gonna sit up here and be sharing my body, energy, time, none of that with nobody, when I could be doing other things with it that could be bringing me to where I'm trying to go. You feel me? And so I want the same for y'all too. Like, practice that, because it's gonna be some points in your life where you're not gonna be able to do that. Like, when you're having your 6 weeks after you have your baby, you could be going through a depressional period. Anything could happen where that part of you gets shut off. So you got to be able to get to know somebody on a deeper level other than the physical. The next tip I would say, y'all, is to go to therapy. I can't stress this enough. This is probably one of the tips that is on the higher list. I cannot tell y'all how many times I feel like going to therapy has truly changed my life. I've always wanted to go to therapy, because if y'all don't know, I do want to be a therapist or whatnot. But being able to go to a therapist. I feel like my therapist literally, I don't want to say she saved my life, but when I was in a deep dark place last year, she helped me to get out of that. Like, she really helped me to get out of there, and I can't thank her enough. So if you are going through something, you've been through some traumatic stuff in your life, or even if you haven't been through traumatic stuff, like, just try going to therapy. I feel like everybody should try going at least once. But for me, it was a life-altering experience, and it definitely helped me for the greater good. And I feel like if you really want to truly learn about yourself inside and out, therapy is definitely the way to go. The next thing that I feel like I've learned is to always do your research. Somebody can tell you that the sky is blue outside, but the sky might be red. So you can't always just go off of word of mouth. Always do your own research first, because people just, you know, you can't always rely on somebody's word for it. So I just say do your research, and that just comes to anything. Like, it could be something as simple, like I said, it's just looking up a clothing brand and be like, girl, this clothing brand is great, and then you get it and you like, oh my god, the quality on this is trash. Like, everybody's opinions is different and stuff. So just make sure anything that you do in life, do your research. Don't always go off word of mouth. The next thing that I would suggest is to try everything once, and if you don't like it, you don't have to live with any regrets. So what I mean by that is, say for instance, if you say you don't like a certain type of food, but it's like, how would you know you don't like the food if you don't try? I'm talking to myself now. How would you know you don't like it if you don't try, right? So if you at least tried that one time, now you can actually be like, I really don't like it. You know, you can't sit up here and say like, I would rather live with the regret of saying that I tried something than to not have tried it and be like, dang, I wish I would have tried doing that. Whatever it is in life. So again, try something always once before you just shun it out, so you don't have to live with that regret of not trying it. Ooh, y'all, I'm starting to get a little hot. Anybody be getting hot when they be drinking? Number 2. Ooh wee. Anywho, let's get back into this. Alright, my next suggestion would be to find your grown woman style. I feel like my style has changed so much over the years, and I feel like I'm slowly but surely starting to get into what it is that is my style. Like, I think it's just so important to know what you like, because it's like, it's going to be so much more easier for you to find pieces that fit you, instead of trying to get a whole bunch of different stuff that you see other people have on. Because I've done it before too. Like, I'll order stuff and see a girl wearing, I'm like, oh, that look bomb, and I put it on me, I look crazy as hell. Like, everybody can't wear certain stuff. So again, I just encourage you to just find your grown woman style, whether that be cute, comfy, stylish, chic, tomboy, girly, whatever it may be. Look into it and really just own it, and find pieces that you could just wear over and over again, and really just own in on who you are as an individual when it comes to your style. The next thing I would suggest is find a hobby. Like, I just think this one is funny, because like, when I'm typically dating somebody or whatever, that is something like, they'll be like, what are you into? And it's like, oh shit, what am I into? Like, it makes you think. So like, it's good to have some things that you actually genuinely like to do. And when I say a hobby, I'm talking about an actual hobby, y'all. Like hiking, working out, reading books, whatever the case may be. You gotta find what works for you, and don't just say something just because it sounds good. Because I've said before, I like reading books as a hobby, but then when I really thought about it, I was like, Tatiana, when the last time you picked up a book? I want to like reading books. I used to like reading books when I was younger, but as I've gotten in my adult years, sometimes it's hard for me to really sit down and read a book. Do hobbies, or have hobbies that you actually like, and not just because they sound good. The next tip is, and y'all heard me say this word over and over again if you are not new to my channel, is learn how to take accountability. You will change so much turmoil in your life when you learn how to take accountability, because not only are you owning up to the things that you've done right in, but now it allows that other person to feel comfortable enough to be able to maybe admit their wrongs, or what it is that they need to do better as a person too. When you don't take accountability, I feel like that pushes people away, because nobody wants to be around somebody that don't never admit when they're wrong, or they don't feel like that, you know, they not on a high horse. Like, that's not a good look. It's not a good look. So learn how to take accountability, admit when you're wrong, and be open to learning and hearing new things from people and suggestions and stuff. Which that brings me to my next point, is be open to learning. Like, I learn so much from people every day. Like, I could run into somebody in the street right now and they could stop and have a conversation with me, and I will take away a nugget from something that they talk to me about, because I feel like everybody is so valuable and so needed. It's so many things that you can learn in every moment in life. It's crazy. Like, I could be on the highway right now and somebody cuts me off and I get pissed off, and then I could speed after the person and try to cut them off. Or I could just be like, you know what? They got somewhere to go. Let me let them go. Let me let them go, and you get to where you're going, and I'm gonna get to where I need to go safely by driving slower. So it's always something that you can learn with everything. So again, just be open to learning and be open to doing new things. All right, the next one is don't ever let a man tell you he don't want you twice. Oh, Jesus, I gotta take a drink to that one. Don't let a man tell you he don't want you twice. And when I say he don't want you, I'm not saying verbatim. I'm talking about in his actions and sometimes what he says. Cause you ever heard this one? Yeah, I'm not ready to get in a relationship right now. I'm just kind of just trying to go with the flow. That man telling you he don't want you. Because if a man sees something valuable or he sees something that is considered a prize, he's going to want to own it. He's going to want to have it. Men are go-getters. They chase after things that they want. They're natural hunters. So in that instance, if he's not chasing after you, it's because he don't want you. Yes, you could be the greatest thing. You can suck, pluck, cook, clean, and everything in the sun. But that does not still make a man want you. He could like your company and your aura, but that doesn't mean he wants you. If he's not showing up for you the way that you show up for him, he don't want you. And that's all I'm going to add on that, because I can go on days and days and days about that one, because I got some stories. I got some stories, baby, but we ain't even going to go there today. We ain't going to go there. The next thing that I've learned, and I haven't quite got here yet, but this is something that I would like to do, is to move out of your hometown. I always hear about people saying how you find out so much about yourself when you move out of your hometown, because your hometown is your comfort. You know everybody or whatnot, and things are not as intense as if you have to get out here and start all over again at a new place. So I would definitely say, if you have the opportunity, if you don't have no kids, you're maybe not in a relationship where it's going to hold you back, a certain job that lets you be flexible and move, I would say go for it and try to move out of your town at least once in your life, just to see what it's like. And you never know, like, you might end up finding the love of your life in that city. You might end up loving the new city that you're in and settling down there. And it's just so many different things that you can just find out about yourself. So I would say definitely make sure that you try to do that. Okay, the next suggestion would be to learn your love language and also learn your attachment style. Now this is kind of like a social work type of, not exactly a social work type of thing, because you can learn this if you go to therapy and stuff like that too, or you can teach yourself, because I taught myself this too while also being in my master's program. But it's scary how much knowing your attachment style will teach you how you are as a person and why you act the way you do. Like, and the attachment style, if you guys don't know what it is, it's pretty much like a theory that was created with 4 different type of attachment styles that show how you navigate with your behavior based on how you was treated as a child. However your caregiver or your parent acted towards you, that's how you gain this attachment style. So if your parent was like in and out, they wasn't really there, you might be anxious avoidant. Or if your parent was like there, or you was so used to all of this different stuff, you might be fearful avoidant, which is like you always are used to either being hot or cold. Secure is like your both parents was in the home, they loved on you, all of this extra stuff. And so learning that will help you so much. Like, I learned so much. Once I learned that, a lot of stuff made sense to me. I was like, oh, this is why things went this way for me. Okay, it makes sense now. But it's up to you, once you figure out your attachment style, to figure out how to get out of that and to become a more secure attachment style, because that is the goal ultimately. But I also think, like I said, learning your love language too is another way that you can kind of understand it better too, because your attachment style, I feel like, is attached to your love language, because your love language is how you like to receive love. So growing up, you might have thought love was gift giving because your parents always gave you gifts or whatnot. And so being able to let somebody know how you like to receive love and how you like to give love is so important, because sometimes if you don't feel like that you can give that other person the type of love that they like to receive, then that could be a deal breaker. So I definitely think that that's good to know those things. The next suggestion I would say is to take care of your health mentally and physically. This is another one that's on the list of top tier. Like, you don't know what you don't have till you don't have it. You know, me personally, going through my own stuff, like, I took for granted certain things or whatnot until I had my little situation happen. But, you know, I'm in a much better space. But I would just say, like, take care of yourself. Like, try to do exercise if you can, eat the best way you know how, make sure that you're not out here smoking, doing drugs, just all these different things that could potentially mess you up in the long run. Sometimes people only think about the right now, and the right now is gonna get you messed up for real. So always think about what can affect you later on down the line. The next suggestion I would say is to don't stress what you can't control. This is another one I feel like that is a home hitter for me. Like, for a long time, I was worried about and anxious about the things that I had no control over, and a lot of things in life we have no control over. So once you let go of that control that you're trying to have, so many things are going to fall into place for you, because you're going to understand, like, you know what, I can't build Rome in a day, but I can do this to make my life a little bit easier. So just think about that. The next suggestion I would say is to not assume just because your friend is single that they don't have good advice. I can't remember how many times a friend might have not came to me or like seeked my advice when it came to like a relationship or anything, just off of the strength of me not being in a relationship. Like, and I wish people would stop doing that. Like, you can learn really good advice from people that are not in relationships, because look, let me tell you this. You can learn that, hey, just because I'm not in a relationship does not mean I can't get in a relationship. I'm choosing to not be in a relationship because I'm not settling. Some people are out here settling and they're just dealing with anything to be able to say that they have somebody. But I'm choosing to be single because I know I deserve more. And you deserve more too, low key. So it's kind of like, look at it like that. Don't let nobody sit up here and tell you that you're not worthy enough of being able to say this or say that just because you're not in a relationship. Because a lot of times these people be in situations that they don't want to be in either. But that's another story for another day. Y'all, my next point would be to don't be afraid to start over. Like, I know sometimes we stay in stuff way longer than we should, whether this is a job, relationship, city, for a long period of time because we're scared to do a new beginning. But I promise you, sometimes you are blocking your own blessings by staying in this stagnant situation. That goes back to, once again, maybe God didn't even want this for you. You kind of created your own plan. So don't be afraid to start over. Like, I would say seek God's advice and see what it is that he wants for your life and go as fit. Like, it may be scary and it may not be something you're familiar with, but I promise you, you could be seeing something so far beyond what you thought you could have by just going and starting over. The next thing I would say is, if it doesn't feel right, it's because it ain't right. Let me say this again. If it don't feel right, it's because it ain't right. So if you ever find yourself in a situation where you get the bubble guts and you just don't feel good about it, you're like, I don't know about this. Yeah, that's your instinct trying to tell you, girl, this ain't for you. So go the other way. And you know, guys too, like, your instinct is never gonna steer you in the wrong direction. So listen to her, sis. Sit down, be quiet, put that hookah down, put that drink down, and listen to that intuition and see what it's telling you. You'd be surprised with the answers. The next tip I would say is to love yourself. So by the time somebody else shows up, they are not a placeholder, but they are just an add-on to what you've already given yourself. So if you're showering yourself with love, you're dating yourself, you're doing all these different things for yourself, by the time somebody else shows up, you won't be so surprised and be like, oh my gosh, like thrown off guard by somebody treating you so well, because you already treat yourself well. So it's like, now you got to meet me here. You might have thought you was going to meet me here, but no, baby, you got to meet me here, because I already do all this for myself. What are you going to do on top of what I'm already doing for myself? Don't even be surprised by it. Love yourself so much that, again, like I said, it's not a surprise when love comes knocking at your door. Love yourself so much that it's not a surprise when somebody comes in and they're treating you a certain type of way, because you already treating yourself in that manner. And the last thing that I would say that I have learned in my 27 years on this earth is to keep God first. I can't stress this one enough, and I wanted to leave this one last because I feel like it's so important. Keep God first in everything that you do. Your relationships, your friendships, your job, spirituality, everything in general. If you keep God at the center of it, I feel like nothing can go wrong, because God is the one that's going to lead you to wherever it is that you're supposed to be going. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for joining me on my first Wind Down Wednesdays. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope I didn't get into too much chitter and chatter, because y'all know I like to talk, but this is the perfect thing for me to talk to y'all, because I feel like I can say what I want and just be me and all that extra stuff. And like I stated at the beginning, be sure to comment down below some suggestions of different topics that you guys want me to talk about in the future Wind Down Wednesdays. If you made it all the way to the end of this video and you still subscribed to the family yet, what are you waiting on? Click on that red subscribe button down below before leaving it out. Thank you guys so much, as always, for showing love and support. And you already know, I will see you in my next video. Once again.